Okay. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Before we begin, let us take a moment to center ourselves and seek guidance. Heavenly Father, we come before you today with gratitude for the opportunity to learn and grow. Grant us strength and perseverance as we pursue our goals. May we find the courage to overcome challenges and the wisdom to make the most of every opportunity. Amen. Hello again. I hope that you are in good health at this moment and you are in a happy mood and excited to learn. Before we start, siguro just a few words before begin our before we discuss our topic for today. Okay? Tandaan, habang tayo nagsusumikap, always remember that every challenge is an opportunity for growth. Lahat tayo may pinagdadaanan. So each obstacle you overcome brings you closer to your goals. Ang tagumpay ay hindi basta-basta naaabot. Ito ay isang proseso ng patuloy na pagkatuto at pag-improve. Embrace every lessons and let each experience mold you into the best version of yourself. Maniwala tayo sa power of perseverance. Believe in the power of perseverance. Every great achievement starts with the decision to try, and each setback is just a chance to rise again. Always stay focused on your dreams. Keep pushing forward and know that every effort you put in gets you closer to success. Ang iyong dedikasyon at hard work, yan ang magiging susi mo para maabot mo ang iyong full potential. Huwag kalimutan, progress is often slow and requires patience. Sabi nga, patience is a virtue. But every small step forward is a victory. Celebrate your achievements, even it is a small achievements, no matter how small, and use them as a motivation to keep going. Remember, the journey may be long, but with faith, dedications, and resilience, you will surely reach your destinations. So, yan ang ating food for thought and hopefully medyo na-motivate tayo at uh, mayroon na tayong excitement or happy mood para makinig kay Sir sa kanyang formal class. So, I will share my slides for our discussion. Okay, economics. Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of what we call managerial economics. Ano nga ba ito? Simply, it's the branch of economics na nag-a-apply ng microeconomic analysis para sa mga specific business decisions. This means we use economic theories to make better decisions, whether sa pricing, production, investment, or strategies. Think of this way. If you're running a business, kailangan mong intindihin kung paano gumagana yung market, paano mo i-manage yung cost, at papaano mo i-optimize yung resources na meron ka. So when we say managerial economics, it gives us the tools and the framework para maintindihan ang mga factors like demand, supply, competitions, as well as the regulations na nakakaapekto sa isang business environment. For example, imagine you're the manager of a bakery. Gusto mong malaman how much bread to produce each day, di ba? So, dito you will consider the cost of ingredients, the cost of labor, the electricity, at the price na pwede mong ipataw or idagdag doon sa tinapay. So, managerial economics helps you to analyze these factors para makagawa ka ng desisyon na magbe-benefit sa negosyo mo. So, as we go through this topic, remember na ang goal natin is to make you better decision makers, ready to take on the challenges of the business world. So, that is managerial economics. So ngayon, let's talk about the definition and scope of microeconomics. Ano ba ang microeconomics? So it is a branch of economics that focuses on the behavior and the decision-making processes ng individual economic units tulad ng households, firms, and industry. Ibig sabihin, iniintindi natin kung paano nagde-decide ang mga tao at businesses at kung paano nila gagamitin ang kanilang limited resources para masatisfy ang kanilang unlimited wants and needs. So magkaiba ang wants at magkaiba ang needs. For instance, let's say you're deciding whether to buy a new phone or save your money for something else. Di ka, phone ba o ibabangko ko na lang para makasave ako? Dito papasok yung concept ng opportunity cost. When we say opportunity cost, ito yung idea na may isasakripisyo ka every time you make a choice. Say for example, pinili mong mag-save ng pera. Ang naging opportunity cost mo doon, yung hindi ka bumili ng bagong phone. Ibig sabihin ng opportunity cost, yung nilet go mo. Okay? Yung nilet go mo, yung hindi mo pinili. So sa businesses naman, microeconomics helps you decide how to produce, what pricing strategies to use, and how to manage your costs. Importante ang microeconomics kasi it helps us understand the little details that contribute to the bigger picture of the economy. By understanding microeconomics, mas nagiging equipped tayo to make informed decisions in our daily lives and in businesses. Okay? So microeconomics is very important. It it dig into the details. So ngayon, baka malito kayo what is micro and what is macro. Okay? Although same branch, para silang sa ilalim ng umbrella ng economics. Okay, magkakaroon lang tayo ng brief discussion about comparison about micro and macro. Okay. Now, let's distinguish between the microeconomics and the macroeconomics. Although they are interconnected, pero magkaiba sila in terms of approach and scope. When we say microeconomics, ang focus ito is on individual markets tulad ng market for bread or gasoline. It examines the supply and demand for specific goods and services, kung papaano nagsiset ang individual prices at ang behavior ng consumer at producer. Okay? That's the microeconomics. On the other hand, when we say macroeconomics looks at the economy as a whole. Holistic ang approach. Ito yung part ng economics that deals with the aggregates indicator like GDP, gross domestic product, so unemployment rates, and inflation. Sa macroeconomics, we're more concerned about the overall economic growth, monetary policy, at fiscal policy on a national or the global scale. For example, microeconomic analysis might explore how a specific increase in the price of gasoline affects consumers' choices. Tulad ng pag-drive ng mas kaunti or paglipat sa fuel-efficient cars. In contrast, when we say a macro analysis would examine how a nationwide increase in a gasoline prices impacts inflation rates and economic growth. So, habang ang microeconomics ay nakatuon sa maliliit na parte ng ekonomiya, ang macroeconomics ay tinitingnan naman ang kabuuan. Okay? That's the difference between the micro and the macroeconomics. Okay. Let's talk about key areas of focus in micro since managerial economics is talking about the microeconomics. So the main focus natin talaga ay microeconomics. Okay? Let's explore the key areas of focus in microeconomics that form the backbone of our understanding of economic behavior at the individual and firm level. So number one, dyan ay ang consumer behavior. Sa consumer behavior, pinag-aaralan natin kung paano nagde-decide ang mga individuals at households kung ano ang bibilhin nila given their budget constraints or budget limitations. So this involves understanding how consumers maximize their utility or satisfaction given the limited resources they have. For example, kung ikaw ay may budget na 1,000, kailangan mo mag-decide kung ano ang mga bibilhin mo. Grocery items, load, o savings. The choices you make depend on what you value most. So what is your priority? So how you can get the most satisfaction out of your limited budget. So that's what we call consumer behavior. When we say product behavior, dito naman sa when we say producer behavior, dito naman sa pinag-aaralan natin kung paano naman mag-decide ang mga firms or producers sa dami ng produktong gagawin naman nila or ipuproduce nila. Paano nila ito gagawin at anong pricing strategies ang gagamitin para ma-maximize ang kanilang profit. Halimbawa, sa bakery, they need to decide kung ilang tinapay ang gagawin araw-araw. They need to consider kung magkano ang ingredient, magkano ang bayad sa labor, at ang presyo na willing bayaran ng customers para sa mga tinapay. The goal is to produce at a level where they can earn the most profit. Saan ba talaga sila kikita? Third is the market structures. Okay. When we say market structures, it refers to the different type of market environments. Medyo malawak ito, pero bibigyan natin ng overview. Okay? When we say market structure, paano ba ito nakaka-influence sa pricing, sa output, and efficiency? At meron tayong several types. Okay? Ito overview pa lang to kasi later on mapag-aaralan natin talaga sila sa in detail. So when we say market structure, number one dyan yung tinatawag na perfect competition. Hindi siya perfect combination ha. It is a perfect competition. When we say perfect competition, maraming sellers, maraming buyers with no single entity controlling the market price. Seller and buyer, madami, with no single entity na nagkokontrol sa market price. Halimbawa, sa palengke, di ba? Maraming nagtitinda ng pare-parehong produkto tulad ng gulay at prutas. Marami rin namang nagbumibili sa palengke. At bahala sila kung magkano ang market price na ibinibigay nila sa presyo na gusto nila. So that's a perfect competition. When we say monopoly, pangalawa, monopoly. Isang seller lang ang may control sa market. Okay? Isang seller lang ang may control sa market. Tulad ng kuryente sa isang lugar kung saan isang kumpanya lang ang provider. Why? Let's say for example, dito sa atin, Umeco, 'di ba? Hindi pwedeng marami ang nagbibigay ng ganong serbisyo kasi baka magkaroon ng maraming poste, linya. So, hindi po pwede. So, it is depende pa rin sa kung ano yung produkto or services na ipinoprovide nila. But that's the best example of monopoly. Isang seller lang ang may control sa market. So, the next one is oligopoly. Oligopoly. So, iilan lang ang sellers na nagkokontrol sa market tulad ng mga telecom companies. Okay? So, di ba, marami tayo. May Smart tayo, may Globe tayo, may Dito. So yun. That's what we call oligopoly uh, market structure. The fourth market types of structure is what we call monopolistic competition. Monopolistic competition. Ibig sabihin, maraming sellers, pero each one offers a slightly different product. Maraming nagtitinda pero mayroong pagkakaiba. The best example ay of course the fast food chains. Yung mga fast food, the Jollibee, McDonald's, Mang Inasal, the Greenwich, the Chowking. Okay? Uh, Yun, ang pinaka-example ng monopolistic competition. Maraming seller pero nag-offer na slightly different product. Okay? Next is what we call the resources allocation. So, this area examines how resources like land, labor, and capital are allocated among different uses and how this um, allocations use, okay, to impact our economy. Sa madaling salita, paano ba natin ginagamit ang mga resources natin sa pinakamabisang paraan? Halimbawa, paano ba ang tamang alokasyon ng lupa para sa agrikultura at industrial purposes? Tamang allocation ensures that right allocations ensures that we maximize the benefits from our limited resources. Okay? Hindi naman kasi lumalapad na ang lupa, di ba? Hindi na dumadami ang lupa. Constant na yan. So, kung paano mo siya gagamitin at saan mo siya gagamitin, yun ang dapat pag-aralan. Next is the market failures. Okay? Market failures occur when markets fail to allocate resources efficiently and leading to loss of economic welfare. So kasama dito sa mga situations na to ay ang tinatawag nating public goods, externalities, and information asymmetry. Ulitin ko. Part ng market failures, examples ng market failures are the public goods, externalities, and information asymmetry. So for example, pollution is a form of negative externality where the full social cost of production is not reflected in the price of the product. So leading to overproduction and environmental harm. So understanding market failures is crucial for formulating policies that can correct this inefficiency. Okay, as to summarize this topic about the key areas focused in microeconomics, understanding these uh, areas is vital for analyzing how individual economic agents like the consumers and firms interact within the markets and how these interactions shape the overall economy. Okay, importance and applications and in real life. Let's talk about that. Okay. Microeconomics plays a significant role in helping individuals, businesses, and government make an informed decision. So by understanding its principle, mas nagiging malinaw sa atin kung paano gumagana ang markets, how we can predict the outcome of economic policies, and how we can make decisions that lead to more efficient resources use. Isa-isayin natin. Sige. On a personal level, your personal finance. Individuals, tayo yun, use microeconomic principle to decide on spending, saving, or investing. Pag nag-decide ka kung bibili ka ba ng bagong phone or mag-iipon ka para sa future, you're actually applying microeconomic concepts to weigh the opportunity cost. Okay? That's no personal finance. Next, in business strategy, firms apply microeconomics. With mga company, they apply microeconomics to optimize production, pricing, and marketing strategies. Kunwari, isang coffee shop, ang kailangan mag-decide kung ilang cups of coffee ang ipuproduce araw-araw. So by analyzing the cost of inputs tulad ng coffee beans, ng milk, and of course yung personnel mo or labor, as well as the demand for coffee, doon mo madidetermine the best price para ma-maximize mo yung profits mo. And of course, medyo palawagin natin sa government policy. So policymakers use microeconomic analysis to design policies that promotes efficiency and equity. Halimbawa, kapag nag-impose ang government ng tax on sugary drinks, para mabawasan ang consumptions, they rely on microeconomic analysis para malaman kung paano magre-react ang consumers sa price increase. The goal is to decrease demand, improve public health, and reduce healthcare costs related to obesity. So, yun yung mga examples natin, okay? Na pwedeng gamitan ng microeconomics on a level of the national or the government policy. Okay. Let's delve into some important microeconomics model and theories. One of the most fundamental models in microeconomics is the demand and supply. Wag na wag itong kakalimutan at lagi itong isa isip at isa puso. Kasi ito yung isa sa pinaka foundation ng economics. Ito ang nag-explain kung paano nag-i-interact ang buyers at seller to determine the price and quantity of goods in a market. For instance, if the price of coffee beans increases, the supply curve for coffee shift to the left. Okay? Mayroon tayong, 'di ba, mayroon tayong y-axis and x-axis. So later on, mapag-aaralan natin 'yan, okay? Ulitin natin, if the price of coffee beans increases, the supply curve for coffee shift to the left. So this means mas konti ang quantity of coffee na mabibenta at a higher price. Understanding this model helps a business anticipate changes in input costs that will impact their pricing and production decisions. Okay? Diba? Parang pag mataas ang demand, anong mangyayari? Maraming may gusto ng product na yon. Anong mangyayari sa price? Okay? Yun, yung mga ganun factor. Pag mataas ang supply o maraming supply, o mababa ang supply, anong mangyayari sa price? So, yun yung mga pag-aaralan natin sa mga susunod. Okay? Next is another key concept is the consumer choice theory. So, which examines how consumers make decision to maximize their utility given their budget constraints. Dito, pumapasok yung concept like indifferences curves and budget lines to model consumers' preferences. Medyo lumalalim, di ba? Dito pumapasok yung, ulitin ko, dito pumapasok yung concept ng indifference curves and budget lines to model consumers' preference. So basically, tinutulungan tayo nitong maintindihan kung paano ginagawa ng consumers ang kanilang mga choices. That's what they call consumer preferences. And lastly, we have the production and cost theory, focusing on how firms decide on the optimal level of production and the combination of inputs that minimize costs. Concepts like production function, marginal costs, at economies of scales are central here. Okay? So yun yung mga concept niya. Ano ba yung production function? Ano ba yung marginal cost? Ano ba yung economies of scale? So yun ay napaka-importante dyan. For example, if you're running a business and the cost of your inputs increase, yung yung input ay tumaas, this theory helps you figure out how to adjust your production level to maintain profitability. So these microeconomic models and theories are very important for making sound business decision, understanding the market dynamics. That's what we call production and cost theory. Okay. Oops. Okay. That's all about our first session for the managerial economics, but we mainly focus on the microeconomics, okay? Kasi yun talaga ang tinatakbuhan ng managerial economics. Okay? So, okay pa ba tayo? Sana pwede nating balikan ito para to make it, kung hindi man natin naintindihan sa unang pasada, pwede pa tayong magpangalawa, pangatlo. And that's the beauty of the self-paced program natin. Okay. Basta wag lang tayong mapagod mag-aral. Okay? Let me end this topic saying that it's not about how fast you go, but about how far you've come. So keep moving forward. Okay? Um, Sabi nga, may kanya-kanya tayong timeline. Ang buhay ay hindi isang karera, sabi nila. Kaya walang nauuna, walang nahuhuli. So may kanya-kanya tayong destination. Okay. Uh, Mayroong nagiging CEO at age of 30, mayroon namang at age of uh, 70 or 60, may nagiging presidente like Obama, bata pa siya, naging presidente compared to Biden, di ba? O na sobra na sa senior. So may kanya-kanya tayo. Timeline, may kanya-kanya tayong kapalaran. So just keep going and always keep yourself motivated and inspired on what you're doing. Okay? Uh, Let me end this session and see you again on our next session. Ingat kayo.